Hello, this is Mr. Smith for Honors Economics, and this is going over the December-January daily participation. Remember to click on the Submit button, and the text box will open up, and you'll be able to type 3 significant points from the day's lesson. So today we'll talk about perfect competition. In a perfectly competitive market, or competitive market, because when it comes to human beings, there's no such thing as perfect, but in a competitive marketplace, we have many producers, hundreds, maybe thousands of businesses involved in producing this particular product. And so in this industry, there are many producers. They're producing a virtually identical product. It's the same no matter where you go. Farming is a good example. A cherry tomato producer in Pennsylvania is producing virtually the same thing as a cherry tomato producer in California. Yes, they're a little bit red, more or redder in one place than another, a little bit rounder in one place than another, but basically they're identical. The texture, the purpose, the taste. A person who likes cherry tomatoes from Pennsylvania is going to like them from California. A person who doesn't like them isn't going to in either place. So they're virtually identical products. And because of this, because of it's an identical product, it's been well studied, it's been out there for a long time, everybody knows everything there is to know about this, especially because of the modern era. You can just go to Google and look up how to grow cherry tomatoes. And so even though, no, it's never easy to start a business, it is easier to start up a business in a competitive or perfectly competitive marketplace than it is in the other market structures, which would be monopolistic competition, oligopolies, and monopolies. So there's very few barriers to exit or entry. There's startup money that you need to purchase capital with, and so on. Yes, but that exists in all the industries, and it's much easier to get it here than it is in the other industries. And so in this particular market structure, there are very few, if any, barriers to exit or entry, and all the information is well known. There are many producers. They're making virtually identical products. And because of that, because there's such an abundance of supply, it means that the demanders, the consumers, the people purchasing these products, really have their pick. And because they do, they don't have to pay any more than they want to. And so we refer to people in a perfectly competitive marketplace, the market structure, the producers anyway, as price takers. Here we can see on the left-hand side the market for a perfectly competitive industry. The price that has to be taken is exactly at the equilibrium point. If, for instance, that cherry tomato farmer charges a little bit more than the marketplace, people are not going to come to him to buy his product. If he charges a little bit less, then he's not going to be able to cover his costs. And so in a marketplace, the overall marketplace, we see that the producers are price takers. They have to go with whatever the market gives them at the equilibrium point. And then we look at the output for an individual firm. And here we have the marginal cost. This is how much cost is going up for each additional unit that is being sold. So they first get in the industry, here are their costs. Then they start producing more, and they can see per unit their cost is going down because they start to specialize, they're mass producing. But then eventually it starts to go up. And then the AR stands for average revenue. And in this case, since the price is going to be the same for each unit, it is also going to be marginal revenue. And for this individual firm, this is also going to be their demand curve. Since the market price is constant for each unit sold, the AR curve is also the MR curve, and it is also the demand curve. So it's all three of these things when it comes to an individual. Remember, this is the whole marketplace. This is an individual firm or business in that market structure. For the firm, the profit maximization output is at quantity 1, which you can see right here. This dashed line that goes the whole way up, that is the maximization process. And what can we recognize if we look closely at this? Well, it is where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. So this is going to be the point where we are going to maximize productivity. And here, the total revenue is going to be this quantity times this price. And notice that that is where their quantity meets that price is going to be the same place where the equilibrium would have been in the first place in the market, because once again, everybody kind of has to take this price. And so the total revenue is going to be in what we call supernormal profits in this box area, because here the marginal cost is going to be lower than marginal revenue. At each of the quantities here, the marginal cost, which is this, So in this entire area, this is the marginal cost is going to be lower than the marginal revenue. So they're making supernormal profits because their revenue is greater than whatever their marginal cost is going to be. But after that point, like if this is the quantity they're going to produce, notice here that the marginal cost is going to be greater than the marginal revenue. So it doesn't make any sense to produce past this point. And so that is the perfectly competitive marketplace when we look at profit maximization and we look at both the market structure and the marginal cost and marginal revenue for an individual firm.